Good morning, everyone. It's Cynthia with your daily tarot card of the day. Welcome in. Thank you so much for joining me. This week we are using the Shaman Wisdom cards, and I have information about this deck in the description box below. And so I'm going to take a moment to bring you some timeless messages. I'm going to tune into the general collective energies of the day and tune into my spirit guides. And I invite you to tune into your own intuition, inner guidance, higher self, spirit guides, however you connect with infinite wisdom, so that whatever card comes up, you might receive your own personal messages and insights. The messages that I bring through being general and timeless. Whenever you happen to find this video, there's likely something here for you if you're inspired to watch. But always take what resonates and leave the rest behind. If none of it resonates, so be it. If all of it resonates, then that's wonderful. I just heard one more shuffle and then cut, so that's what I shall do. Really? And I just heard take two. So this one that fell from the bottom and this one that was on the top of the cut. All right. Two sides of the cut. That's interesting. Number 26 and number 49. So we have plant medicine and we have mineral medicine. Golden seal, number 26. And red coral, number 49. Balancing the masculine and the feminine. Right. Okay, I'm hearing the message clear channel. Okay. So the overall message is clear channel. Balance the masculine and feminine energies within yourself, the yin and the yang. The right and the left, these dichotomies, action and, receptivity. And they're showing me an individual who's grounded from the root chakra, which would be first chakra, fire energy here. Grounded, but then you have sun fire here, right? So we're talking about the fire energies. We're talking about light energy, and it's very yang and masculine, fire itself. However, this is talking about balancing opposites or harmonizing a dichotomy. So they're showing me like the figure of a person and a stream of like sunlight, light energy, spirit energy, chi, whatever you want to describe it as going like a single shaft down through them from crown to root, but extending past the physical body. So root chakra, and I'm getting this sense of crown chakra. Now, the south energy has to do on the North American medicine wheel in general. South energy has to do with the body of emotions. And it has to do with motivations and intentions within those emotions. So balancing of the mental, emotional body that allows for motivation, clear intention, and action. And so that when we balance these energies, when we ground ourselves and then balance the masculine and feminine within, and then within that, we're finding this balance of our mental, emotional energy, the balance of motivations and intentions that come from an inner receptivity to our own personal inner fire, so to speak, our spark of creativity and joy, that that then lights up our action. And there's a connection from root to crown and crown to root. So a full circuit. And that's kind of the visual that they're giving me. And the energy, this is really strong. The energy that's coming through is very much of being this clear channel of your own personal divine light and power. Open crown chakra and balanced open crown chakra and balanced open root chakra. Because the heaven energy is coming down through the top of your head and going straight through your body and processing and down into the ground. And then it's rising up from the ground through your lower chakras and back to the top of your head. And you are a complete circuit of divine energy and life force. And this is the visual that they're showing me. So apart from being grounded and also being open and receptive to not just your divine spark within and moving ahead with whatever actions that you might be inspired to take, but also remembering your connection to divine light and wisdom that comes from you being the channel of divine energy that you are. We've got this idea of balancing opposites, balancing dichotomies, light and shadow, earth and sky, water and fire, masculine and feminine, yin and yang, however you want to look at it. I'm right, you're wrong? No. I'm right, you're right. Where's the paradox? That's what needs to shift, is that the paradox points to the thing that needs to be changed or grown in terms of definitions and limiting beliefs and diplomacy and cooperation and harmony and balance. So I'm feeling like the overall message for today's energy really does have to do with, there's something about being presented with challenges or disagreements or opposites showing up kind of clearly. And so it could be, you could be stuck in the middle of witnessing a disagreement between people, or you could be a part of a group or collaborative, either at work or in your community or with your family, where everybody has their own individual, ideas, opinions, this, that, the other thing, even facts. But what do we see with facts? Well, some facts can be proven and some facts can, also be proven, and they can look like they're at a disparity with one another. So there seems to be something here about conflict resolution, a blending of energies in order to harmonize opposites. So coming together and being able to discuss things, and seeing, okay, where's that paradox point? These two things that look like they're opposites, but they're both here for a reason, and where they come together, there's a seed or a kernel that needs to shift or change. And this could bring up a need for diplomacy, or again, cooperation, being compassionate and solution-oriented. So on a very practical level, again, there can be situations where you feel like you're stuck between opposites and you're trying to figure out which one's right and which one's wrong. And that's not the problem. The problem is how do we resolve the paradox, which would be a blending or a harmonizing of. And that could be an internal recognition. There are some situations where we can voice our opinions, we can make suggestions and stuff, but we're not the decision maker. Like if you were at work and you were working on a project with other people, but what if you're not the supervisor? What if you're not the one who gets to dole out the resources, right? And so you can contribute and participate in that, and you can maybe even open up other people's perspectives, but we have to be centered and grounded enough to not get caught up in the us-them competition or the right-wrong kind of a thing. We have to be more solution-oriented. We have to be more compassionate. We have to kind of recognize, like, where there could be missing information, or where there could be something that's blocking a broader perspective that would actually bring in a solution. So you might find yourself like caught in a situation where you're not sure what decision to make for yourself or how to participate in the group. It needs to bring some kind of a harmony. Or it could be a personal relationship, you between another person, just having a disagreement, not seeing eye to eye, when really, when it comes down to the basics of things, you might both have limiting beliefs or definitions that need to change, but neither are both of you necessarily wrong. Like, you could both be right and both still need to learn a lesson or make a change. And we resolve the paradox by having compassion and letting each take responsibility for their own ability to change those definitions or to broaden perspective or to shift. And then, given boundaries that we have either between people or with groups or, certain principles or whatever, we have those boundaries in place to say, okay, so if this is how I can respond to that person based on this boundary, depending upon, whatever their response is. Whether they change a definition, don't change a definition, want to work together, want to walk away, want to, they change a little bit, but it might take time. You know what I mean? And I'm just going to work on myself and recognize where that boundary is. And when the timing is correct, we might be able to come together to a solution at a later date. But right now, center, grounding, there's the boundary, working on the self, detaching from the result, detaching from the problem, so that we can be open to cooperation and compassion, but also being open to a solution. Because if we sit in the disagreement, if we sit in the discord, If we sit in just seeing the opposites or the apparent opposites, we're in the space of the quote unquote problem or question. We're not in a space to receive a solution. We're in a space to be in conflict. So to remove yourself from just looking at it as opposites, just looking at it as disharmony, just looking at it as right and wrong, we need to step back and sort of disconnect from it, especially on a mental emotional level, so that we can recenter, ground ourselves, and then be open to possibilities that we haven't even yet thought of. And it's, we need to sort of mentally, emotionally get ourselves right with, well, they could be right, I could be right, we both could be right, we both could be wrong. What do I need to do for myself to be more even-keeled? What do I need to do for myself to be more balanced and more open to what kind of truth needs to come through? What kind of change do I need to make in order to receive better information? That way there's also, it might not be conflict or conflict resolution. What if this is co-creation and learning how to work with other people? Well, even conflict is co-creation, right? Again, how do we blend oil and water? An emulsifier, or oil and vinegar. Like when you're making salad dressing, you need a blending element in there, an emulsifier that helps to kind of draw them together. And it will separate out into a suspension sometimes, but you can shake it up a little bit, which isn't a bad thing, and get it to reblend so that it can be utilized, right? So on a spiritual level, it's grounding and centering to harmonize the opposites within yourself, the masculine and the feminine, okay? The light and the dark, that kind of a thing. And holding your mental, emotional body in a space of neutral so that your inspiration and your motivation and intentions can be truly sort of geared towards blending oriented, solution oriented, witnessing, observing, speaking up, making adjustments, but also then, defending certain boundaries or what have you, right? This total. So there could be lessons in that today, or opportunities to bring that out and even display it for other people. You might not be having the difficulty, but you could be entering into a situation where there is difficulty, and that gives you the opportunity to, utilize this skill that you have. You just have to not, again, if it keeps you centered and grounded, and your motivations and intentions are purer because your mental emotional body is in neutral, then you don't have to be attached to the result of how you participate in this situation, right? And on a spiritual level, depending upon what you have planned for the day or how things are going, or what your regular routine and rhythm is for your meditations, remember to focus on centering and grounding and completing that circuit. The divine light, like sunlight, coming down through the crown and then connecting through your root or base, your first chakra, to the ground. And then inviting also that grounded earth energy back up through the first chakra to the crown, where it can then spill out into this beautiful shining light that you are. So a clear channel like that from crown to root and root to crown, all the way through, okay? if these cards or numbers or anything about these that you either know about the mineral or that you know about the plant, if anything comes up for you personally, I would love to hear in the comments any insights that anybody might have. Again, no matter what message I brought through, something that clicked for you or that you know about these things, it might have resonance for somebody else. So don't hesitate to, share that. You don't necessarily have to share your own personal wisdom, but if there's like a message, because there could be a property of either one of these that that you're aware of that maybe I'm not, or that didn't come through as I was sharing the energy that I was receiving. But it could be very useful to someone else. So if you're inspired, please, by all means, you can use the comment section below. Thank you so much for joining me today. I wish you all wonderful peace and blessings throughout. And I love you all. I love you all. Have a wonderful day, and I will see you again tomorrow.